Hello and welcome to Online Calc 2. I'm your instructor, Rob Grondal. What I wanted to do with this video is just kind of give you a sense of how the course is going to go. All of this information is in the syllabus or various places in Canvas, but I think in about 10 minutes I can kind of run through everything and save you the time of trying to figure out where everything is right away. So let's just give the rundown. First and foremost, what you're going to need. Textbook-wise, we are transitioning to a newer edition on the Thomas Calculus book. So for those of you that took Calc 1 from us last semester, you are fine. That was the 14th edition. But if you took some time off, you may have the old 12th edition, but we want Thomas Calculus 14th. This is 14th edition. And along with that, we will be using MyMathLab, the online homework. So you'll have to pay for that if you haven't already. The way Pearson handles MyMathLab with calculus, since it's a multi-semester course, or the textbook covers several courses, if you paid for MyMathLab once already for this textbook, you're good. So if you had to use MyMathLab for Calc 1, you do not have to pay again. If you have not, you will have to buy the MyMathLab Access. If you're kind of weighing where you want to spend your money, if you do not have the textbook yet, so maybe you took Calc 1 somewhere else, or you took it a while ago and you have an old edition, if you purchase MyMathLab, the textbook is in electronic format inside there. So an option some people do is to just purchase the MyMathLab. The only downside to that is you have no physical printed textbook. So that's kind of, you need to sort of weigh out what you think works best for you. The way I'm doing the MyMathLab with our course management system, Canvas, which is where you are right now when you log in and see this video, you will actually register while inside Canvas. The way this is going to work is MyMathLab will be integrated with Canvas, so you shouldn't have to go to the publisher site to log in and do homework. You should only have to log into this course, and you should be able to access the MyMathLab homework from within Canvas. That will also lead to any work you do, the grades should be in the Canvas gradebook. So you won't have grades floating in two different systems. Everything should be in Canvas. Now, I'll be honest with you, this is my first semester using MyMathLab integrated into Canvas. So these first couple of weeks, I'll be learning the ropes as well on my end as far as how that integrates. But what I'd love for you to do is first thing, get in, get registered, make sure you're set up with MyMathLab. That way, when the first day of the semester hits, you're already ready to roll with doing the homework. Okay, so how are you assessed in this course? So there was the aforementioned homework, which is 10% of your grade, which doesn't seem like a huge portion, but I can guarantee you that the work you do here will influence the grade on everything else. The thing about Calc 2 material is that it is not formulaic. There are places where it is, but this material you can only really understand well by doing the work. You will develop your intuition and skills by seeing various problems. There's not like, you know, in Calc 1, you may have learned a differentiation rule and then you just did that rule and you got it and you're fine. Here, every case, you sort of have to analyze the situation. What do I need to do in this situation? So if you're not doing the homework, that's going to lead to poor grades on the tests and so on. If you are doing the homework, that's going to pay off in all the other categories. Now, a lot of what we do in here as well involves making arguments and justifying conclusions and such. And some of that is hard to capture in an online homework environment. You'll definitely know if you're right or wrong, and you can see details in there, but I have very specific things I want you to do in making an argument. And so these quizzes will be very similar to a homework problem, but this is my chance to see you handwrite out some arguments. I want to see how you're using notation and things like that. And these quizzes are a chance for me to kind of give you some feedback on those sorts of things. Notation things, arguments, logic, clarity, those sorts of things. So those quizzes will be another 10%. These are not restricted in any way, so you obviously have access to your notes and whatever, but I would recommend taking the quizzes as if you didn't have access to that stuff, because it'll also be helpful for you. If you sit down to do that quiz on the first pass and you have no idea what to do, that tells you you haven't put in enough time on this homework. So I would always take the first pass on the quiz cold, no notes, no nothing. If that causes you a problem, then go back, make sure you spend enough time on the homework, then come back and do the quiz again. Because you can just turn in your final best version to me, but that'll be feedback even to yourself just internally of whether you're ready to move on to the next thing. There are 4 unit exams. That'll total 60% of your grade. These are regular paper and pencil exams. So, that's why the quizzes are nice preparation for that. Writing stuff out long, putting all the details in. And so you will come to campus for those exams. You'll take them in the testing center. You're not allowed a calculator on that, but computation is not really a big part of this course. It's really argumentation and manipulation and these sorts of things. So you'll be taking these on campus in the testing center. There's information. I have information linked to their webpage as far as hours and procedures and such. If you are taking this course long distance, you're not in the area, there is a network of proctor centers, and I'll also have a link to where those are across the country. So if you're going to do that, contact me right away and let me know, because we have to get that set up with them and make sure that we're all on the same page. So if you are going to use a different proctoring center than our testing center, please let me know right away. So there's 60, 70, 80, and then lastly, the final exam. That's cumulative, 20% of your grade. And these questions should look a lot like what you're seeing in the exams, which should look a lot like what you're seeing in the quizzes, which should look a lot like what you're seeing in the homework. So this all kind of builds on really from that base of getting that work done in the homework. As far as adjustments to this, the final exam can be used to replace your lowest unit exam score. And at the end of the semester, if the class average is below a 75%, I will curve up to a 75%. Now, another thing that you will have every week, but is not assessed, is discussions. This is no grade on this. But typically, I'll have one discussion question each week. When you'll notice in Canvas, everything's going to be laid out on a weekly module setup. So each week, there'll be some homework in my math lab. There will be quizzes, and there will be a discussion question. So you'll have that each week, and the due date is the end of the week, Sunday at midnight for everything. So our weeks will end Sunday at midnight. And the discussions are just things that typically come up in a face-to-face class in Calc 2. These are kind of get at some of the why are things this way, Why does this work? Why does this not work? When do I do this? So these are meant to be discussions, true discussions. I don't want 20 replies to that question with the same answer. When somebody replies to my question, I will reply to them, and that'll often have a follow-up question. So you really should follow the discussion. And even though there's not a grade, my unit exams will typically not only draw from homework or quizzes, but from the discussions. So you should, even if you have nothing to add to the discussion, you should definitely be following it, because that information not only is for your benefit, but I'll make sure that you're paying attention to that by including it in the exams and possibly the final exam as well. Okay, so what Canvas calls modules is kind of how we separate out the material. The way I'm doing it is weekly. So you'll have, for example, week 1 for our first week, and we should have a module all the way down to week 16. And then I guess maybe even a module with some information about finals week. So don't think of an online course as a self-paced course. It's not self-paced. There is a definite pace. There's material for each week, and that material has a due date at the end of that week. So make sure you know your schedule better than I do as far as when you're going to have time each week. And so you don't want to get into a situation where you're doing this work Sunday night. In a face-to-face course, we meet for 5 hours a week, and I expect the students to put in another 2 to 3 hours for each of those hours. So you're looking at 15 to 20 hours a week. So you're not going to put in 20 hours on Sunday night, right? It just can't be done. So you really need to meter this out each week. And in each module, you're going to have kind of the order I would do things is watch my videos. So I have videos going over each concept and examples from that concept. So I'll have those videos inserted for each week. So watch those first. For more detail, you can then read the text. Nice thing about the text, too, is there's more worked out examples. My example is probably different than the one they did or the ones they did. So if you didn't think my example was enough, you can read the text and get more examples. That'd be step 2. Then you're ready to do the homework. And kind of anywhere in here you could be checking in on the discussion question. I find a lot of times there's no response to that discussion question until at least halfway through the week, because you're probably not going to have anything to say until you've watched the videos and read through the book a little bit. So, or maybe even until you've started doing the homework and kind of getting a feel for what I'm even talking about. So this is kind of midweek at some point later in the week. And then lastly, turn in the quiz. Now what I'll do for the quiz is I'll have the question posted in Canvas, but the way I'm going to ask you to turn it in, which is very easy for me to grade, is I'm going to have you set up a shared folder that you'll share with me in Google Drive. And then you'll just put your quiz into your Google Drive folder. I will grade it in there in place. The key thing is this should be a PDF. That way I can annotate on there and grade it right on the PDF without ever having to print it or anything like that. So I also have a video posted on how to get yourself set up in Google Drive. If you've never used it before, the thing you have to understand is that your email account, your whatever at stumail.jccc.edu is really a Google account. So if you go to any Google product, including Google Drive, you can log in with your student credentials and you have a Google Drive account. So, so that's what I want you to use. I want you to set up a folder. That folder will just be your name, and then share it with me. Again, I have full details in the video, my Google Drive video, on how I want you to do that. So that's kind of what your week is going to look like each week. Watch my videos, read the text, do the homework, read and participate in discussion, and turn in quiz or quizzes. And then obviously at any time in here, contact me. Typically what I'll do is, if it's a question I think everybody might have, I'll usually respond to you, but then send it out to the whole class. I tried doing those sorts of questions as a discussion in the past, and it didn't really work. So just email me is fine. So, and don't wait, you know. It's an online course. The videos and everything I've already done. So really what I'm waiting for during the semester is to help you out. So I will try and get back to you as fast as possible, which should usually be pretty quick. So don't wait. When you get stuck on something, just send me an email. I think this covers the main things that I wanted to say. You know, just a general tip about Math 242, Calc 2 is it really is a synthesis of everything you've learned, from geometry to trigonometry to algebra to Calc 1. And so a lot of things are brought to bear. And because of that, it's a lot of work. It's not the sort of thing that you can just kind of take lightly. So you really should be prepared to be putting in a good amount of time on this course. And it doesn't mean that you're not prepared if you find yourself spending a lot of time. Everybody spends a lot of time to be successful. The nice thing is then once you've sort of learned how to be successful in Calc 2, a lot of those skills will take you through the rest of your math or science in general career. So just be prepared for that. Don't think this is something you're going to throw in at the end of the day right before bed or something like that. It's going to take a lot of input on your end. So I'm excited to have you, and just let me know if you have any questions. Definitely, hopefully you're watching this video before the semester actually started and getting in and finding your way around. If you have any questions, just let me know.